What's the regulation? If we're just talking about the relationship between factory farming and this possible pandemic of swine flu, where are the regulators?
Well, a genetic fingerprint of the virus was finally published, and the CDC has confirmed that the main ancestor, the primary progenitor of the current pandemic virus, was this so-called triple hybrid mutant, this bird-human-pig virus that arose on factory farms in 1998 and has been circulating ever since. There's a number of factors why these so-called factory farms are such breeding grounds for disease: the sheer numbers of animals, the stocking density, the overcrowding, the stress crippling their immune systems, the ammonia from the decomposing manure burning their respiratory tracts, the lack of fresh air, the lack of adequate ventilation. Put all these factors together, and what you have is really this kind of perfect storm environment for the emergence and spread of new so-called super strains of influenza, which the public health community has been warning about for years. So, for example, the American Public Health Association, the largest organization of public health professionals in the world, has called for a moratorium on factory farming more than 5 years ago in 2003, yet we did not heed their call, and I think we're seeing some of the consequences of that to this day.
If we're now talking about some banks as having been not just too big to fail, but too big to exist because of the threat that they pose to our economic system, could it be that we could start a conversation about some agribusiness firms or even some pharmaceutical firms really being too big to be good for our health?
Yeah, Smithfield, as was mentioned, is the largest pork producer in the world at the point. And I think the point that Arun brought up is very good. How we treat animals can have global public health implications. HIV/AIDS was traced to the bushmeat trade in Central Africa. SARS came from these live animal markets in Asia. Monkeypox in Wisconsin was because of our exotic pet trade. Whether we're talking about the Nipah virus in Malaysia or strep suis in China or these multi-drug resistant bacteria that we heard about, there are public health implications to the way we treat animals, these so-called anthropogenic changes, like, for example, global warming. The United Nations estimates 18% of anthropogenic or human-made greenhouse gas emissions are from the animal agriculture sector, more than all cars, trucks, planes all put together. So what we eat makes a difference for our climate and for our public health.